Well, hello everyone. So we're doing maintenance today. So as I said on Friday, I'm gonna be checking out my many punches and chisels. So the first one I know I'm gonna be talking about is not really a chisel or a punch, it's a drift. This is my hammer eye drift. And I made this a while back. Came from a Volkswagen axle from a Volkswagen Golf. And as you can see on the end, it is quite mushroomed. And to the point where it's got some really good cracks going into like the middle. So on this guy, I'm just gonna dish off, heat it up in the forge, get the hot cut hardy. Still enough length in here that I'm not worried about cutting this off. Normally I would dress this before it gets to this point, but you know, sometimes it just happens. So it works, hopefully, yeah, there we go. So that's the first one. And I know, oh, why are you angry, YouTube? Sorry, if I leave my Wi-Fi, oh, I got dirt on my face. If I leave my Wi-Fi on while I'm wired in, for some reason it does some funky stuff. So, I got a whack of different chisels and punches. Some of them are mushroomed over like this. This particular chisel, I used to put my tally marks into. Let's move you to the other camera and see if we can get it a little better. So I actually use it for putting tally marks in my little dishes. So this used to be a cold chisel that I just taken down to point. So it's a little bit flatter. This one I'm actually gonna leave alone right at this point in time. The mushroom's not too bad on it. So I'm not gonna worry about this one. So I'm gonna set that aside. This one's my hot chisel. And as you can see, it's blunt and it's got a little blunt on that. A little bit of mushroom on the back end too. So we're gonna go over to the vise and clean this guy up. And I'm only going to be using a file for this particular one. It's not terrible. And like I said, this is going to be a hot cut. So I want a little bit longer, let's say taper on it. Whoop. Yeah, I think that's okay. Wow, YouTube is really not liking it today. Oh, how is everything else? Oh, even I've had a little bit of a downward spike, even on Twitch. Looks a little bit like it's leveled off now, so hopefully it doesn't look terrible to you guys. So we'll get back into it. So. File-wise, I'm going to be using my Flat Bastard mill file. And for this particular guy, obviously you can do this all with a grinder if you want. But sometimes, in a sense, like I would with a cold chisel. They usually lose their temper very easily, so I don't worry about it. This came to me as an old chisel, and I have just modified it to be that nice little like crescent. The reason why I have this one as a nice crescent is if I'm doing chisel work while hot, that I want to get into kind of more of a tight spot, or maybe not as long as a line that the face of this chisel is. Because it's dome, I can really concentrate where I'm hitting. This one wasn't terrible. I probably could have got away with not worrying about it. And I'm not going to a razor sharp point at all. And now we're going to clean off. I'm going to clean off the back end a little bit. This I'm actually going to be using. It's a little bit past what I would do with a file, just from a speed point of view. So I'm just going to get a flat disc on my angle grinder just to clean that up. Of course, this could be done all with a file. And on this side, I'm not worried about a temper or anything like that. It should be soft on this side anyways. What I'm more looking for is a nice clean edge for striking, and also making it straight. So I'm a little high on one side right now. So I'm just gonna quickly take it with a file. That should be that one done. Yep, it's just taking the mushroom off, chamfering it a little bit, so the next mushroom can start. We'll put that aside. Actually, while I have the grinder out, that first one I was talking about with that I used for my tally marks. I'm gonna quickly take the mushroom off. This one actually has a really high carbon count on it. It's just coming off. Just quite orange. Almost would mistake this for cast iron, to be honest, based on my start. Almost. So this definitely has a nice high carbon content in it. Yeah, just taking the mushroom a little bit off. That's it. I like doing that as I can because I've had a couple of them kind of chip off. And also it just doesn't feel well in your hand. I don't know why I moved that because, oh, my internet is not liking me today. Wow. My cable out? Okay, well, that's awesome. Oh, wow. I'm I'm not sure why we're going in and out so much. And why it's not stabilizing. Let me just check the router upstairs. Make sure it's not being a little funny. No, it should be okay. Sorry. I'll come back. I left my belt grinder on. It shouldn't cause a problem, but it is right beside it, and I don't know if it does. So we'll try that now. I wonder if leaving that belt grinder on is actually a problem. Anyways, we're gonna go and cut the end off of this guy. This is my drift. How do I want to do this? Yeah, probably like that. It is quite tight going into my forge, so I'm hoping I can do this in one go. If not, it will be flatter. Now this is good spring steel here, so I'm not going to be surprised if it takes me a couple of heats to get through this. And I'm just going right underneath that mushroom and trying to cut it off. Get a little bit more heat on that. Actually, I'm going to see if I can squish it a little bit more down, because right now it's not fitting in my forge nicely. So we'll just hit some of that down so I can get it back in my forge. I'm also going to probably turn up my forge. It is actually quite low, just so I can get a little bit more heat. Now, let's go through some of the other ones. So I'm gonna pull out all my ball ones, or that's not one. I actually don't know what. Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay. So this might be all of them. So these are the ones I've made to go for when I'm doing when I was doing my sleigh bells. So these are just steel balls or ball bearings. None of these are actually, I think, ball bearings. I think I bought these round steel balls. I honestly think they're mild steel. I got them from, it was online, and it's a place that specializes in doing decorative stuff that add to railings and stuff like that. And then this last one is just a carriage bolt that I welded on a little bit longer stick. And again, this is just to get those tight angles in the swage block while I'm doing my So I'm going to put this one aside when I do my sleigh bells. So that one I'm going to cut off, the big one. And that is just because it's quite mushroomed over. The rest of these aren't bad. So I'm just going to quickly hit them with my angle grinder. And quickly hit them with my angle grinder just to take that mushroom off. And the shafts with all these are just mild steel. Yeah, there was no reason for it to be high carbon steel on the back. Again, just taking the mushroom off, chamfering it ever so slightly, just so when I actually use them again, they will be ready to go and not terribly in a chance of splitting. Ooh, there's some heat going on in this one. Ooh. And I just mean from like all the way down the shaft. And I'm just trying to cut off this end. Might take me a couple of heats, but that's okay. I probably will put a glove on next time because it is starting to get a little warm, so I'll just put that there for now. As for other chisels, so I got my round punches. You've seen them a little bit over the last couple of little bit of things. So these guys, they are actually getting a little out of shape. So I'm actually going to heat these guys up and start straightening them. This one definitely, it's gone woo. So I'm going to throw these guys. Actually, I'm just going to throw this one in the forge. This one, when I look at it, it's not terrible. I think just a quick clean with a file will do that. But this guy, he's quite out of shape, like even up in here. So I'm going to throw him on the forge just so we can straighten him out. I'm going to put him on the inside or side closest to you. Now, of course, I'm going to ruin my heat on this, or my heat treat. on that punch, which is okay. I'm a blacksmith. I can reheat treat my stuff. So on this guy, I'm just gonna, I did this last time as well, and it's just a quick, just fixing up, making a nice sharp, a sharp circle for the punch. This one won't actually take long if I can get it into the vise and hold it a little nicer. And this one really hasn't mushroomed yet all that much, so I'm not going to worry about cleaning up the back end. Like I said, this guy doesn't need much. Just double check, make sure he's looking good on the side. Yeah, that's pretty well. That's pretty well where I want it. How about on this camera? Can we show you on this camera? That's not much better. But yeah, just to get that nice sharp edge again for that punch. Now some of the chisels up here, I will admit, are kind of oddball. So sometimes it's just actually what I needed at the time. Well, that's not even a, that's actually a wood chisel. I don't even know why that got up there. That over there. So like, yeah, I got, you know, that's a hot cut. That's not in bad condition, so that one's just going to be placed right back. I probably, this is a real beastie one. I don't even know why it's there, because this is more of a rock chisel. So I'm not sure. So we'll put that in the chisel box. Oh, hello, John. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Oh, you just done some carving knives. Ooh. This one is just a little. I don't even remember why I made it. It's almost like a screwdriver, but it's not. I know it's not a screwdriver. So I don't know why I have this. I probably made it for a custom thing I needed at one point in time. So I'm gonna put that in my oddball chisel box, so I can do that. This is a cold chisel that I just cleaned up actually a couple of weeks ago, so that one's already good to go. And then this is actually a slot punch. A slot punch I made last year or the year before. I think. So, and that one I barely have used since I've made it. So that one's all good. We're running out of chisels to play with. So let's go back to the drift and see if we can get that cut off. Now, I have no fantasies that this is going to be a nice, clean cut. And really, it's just grinding this mushroom off is going to be such a pain. And same thing with zip cutting it. So it's better for me to just take it to the hot cut and slice it off. Now, I will admit my hot cut needs to be sharpened as well. It's okay, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. So we'll go back to my hole punch, my round hole punch. We'll start doing some straightening. So the back here was a little off, but because that is a nice octagon, I can just take it right into my vise and straighten it up. And I'm just going to go on all sides at a good heat and straighten it. And of course, you can just eyeball it at the anvil. And now I'm going to clean up the rest of it, so the taper part of it. Make sure it's straight. Okay, so I got it pretty straight enough. So I'm going to bring this back up to a heat. And I'm going to actually put it in vermiculite. I'll have to finish it another day. Because what I want to do is, because that was heat treated at one point in time, I want to make sure that any stress that is in it comes out before I reheat treat it. We've had a recent problem with that. So I want to, on one of my flint strikers, where I didn't let it normalize enough and it just sheared, and I tried heat treating it. So I kind of don't want that again. Not much left on this one to cut. There we go. So now we're going to have a nice knotty square bit on the back end. That I'm just going to quickly take my angle grinder, and yeah, I'm going to do this hot. Just an angle grinder with a flap disc, and take that down a little bit. Gonna chamfer it a little bit. Then I'm gonna reheat the end back up so I can put that in vermiculite too, because I want that side to be nice and annealed. So I use vermiculite to anneal my stuff when the forge is still being used. The reason why I use vermiculite is because it won't grab moisture like sand will. And because my shop is kind of open to the elements, I've had issues before where trying to anneal with sand, it caused it to actually harden because there was too much moisture in the sand. So I've moved to vermiculite. So I've almost gone through everything up here. I have a railroad spike knife up here. That's one of the ones that I need to finish. Just never got to it. Oh yeah, that ball end one, I want to cut that off too. Forgot about that one. So what's left up here is my leaf touch mark, which I'm not going to touch. A center punch. Again, this is actually a new center punch. I think I've only used it maybe a handful of times. So that's like perfect. And these guys are the ones I actually make myself. They are actually on my website for sale. I have 3 styles. One is just a hammer finish, which is like this. This is my more normal use center punch. And as you can tell, that's gone mushroom quite a bit. I did something like 150 dice at one point in time. Last year I did 100 and some odd 50, I think, dice. So that one, the tip is perfect. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that tip. Yet, it's mushroomed on the back end. So we'll get that cleaned up. And then, like my ball punch that I made for the rivet set, that one's still good. So I'm not gonna muck around with that. So let's get this old center punch fixed up. Now I know this particular center punch has gone a little dome on the back end as well, just because of how many strikes I've done. So I'm just gonna, wow, terrible. So I'm just gonna take a file to it and clean it up. Yeah. Just to try and get a little bit more flat on the back end. And then just make sure my my little chamfers are looking pretty good. I think that one as well. Still a little bit of mushroom on that, but for now, that will do. This one's actually a little rough at the top here, so I'll probably hit that with a wire wheel before putting that back into the box or my chisel punch kind of thing. And then like the rest of these guys, I don't even know why they're here. I got a lot of cold chisels. I've inherited a lot of them. So I don't know why so many have made it back there. But this is why we're going through and cleaning them up. So that's pretty well my punches and chisels, other than that one ball, one that needs to be done. So we'll start throwing them back into my little holder here. Forgot this other, I got another ball punch here. He slid down. He's probably a little short for this rack. Oh no, he's not bad. So I'll try and do some organizing here. Now that I got actually a lot of these out of the way, of random ones, I'm noticing that maybe, just maybe, I need to make more. Yeah, we're gonna leave that aside. That's my center punch I just cleaned. We'll leave that aside for now, just because I want to wire wheel that back in, clean up a little bit of, there's a couple of burrs on the back end from just use. So I kind of want to clean that up before I put it back in service. The reason why I would rather cut off these mushrooms than like try and forge them back in is because often they will actually get cracks in them. You don't want to forge a crack back deeper into the steel. Thus, I cut them off. Now with this one being mild steel, I'm not worried about, not going to worry about annealing this at all. There's going to be no advantage to it. So I'll just take the grinder, clean it up. Hello, Nate. Hello, hello. So this guy I'm just going to throw on the floor, let him anneal on the floor. Well, he's not going to even anneal. He's mild steel. Just don't want to quench him just in case. Just in case. Because I remember it as mild steel, but sometimes my memory doesn't work as well as it used to. Oh, I should also just put my nail header up there. Yeah, my second nail header. Now what? Huh. Now what? Gone through my chisels. Oh, I guess maybe I should do some cleaning up of this hot cut. Yeah. Well, we're here. Might as well clean him up before putting him back. And really, he's just getting he's getting tired. I think he's getting a little dull around the edges. He's not terrible, so I'm thinking just a file on this guy. And as for heat treating this guy, he really doesn't get heat treated to any degree. I'm pretty sure he's made out of spring steel, and I'm pretty sure that I just left him how he was after being forged. Like, he would have some hardness in it because of air cooling, but from like a proper like heat treat and quench and all that, I'm pretty sure this guy did not get that treatment, because I knew I was going to work with him hot and I would just ruin his temper anyways. So I didn't spend too much time worrying about doing that. And because he is a hot cut, I am doing a very aggressive angle, I guess you can say. He actually is a little hard up in here. My file is just getting on that. Really, I'm just working one side, then a little bit on the other side, just to bring it in. I'm not looking for any like razor sharp or anything, like even sharp per se. I'm just trying to get the worst of it out. He does have a couple of nicks on him, which see if I can get out. If there was a lot of heavy nicks in this, I would actually go across the face, bring it down so I don't have any nicks left, and then I'll bring in the bevel. Oh, come on. Twitch. Stop spamming me. I don't want cheap views. Just delete. Delete. Ban 'em. I don't know. I don't know why people want to spam me. Cheap views. Okay, so that's the hot cut. Whoop, wrong way. That's the hot cut done. A little bit better now. A little bit better. I'm not going to shave with it, but, you know, it's pretty good. So, just going to take a quick look at my hammers. First of all, just see what time we're at. Oh, okay. Not bad, not bad. Then let's take a quick look at my hammers to see how good or bad they are. So, up first, I don't even know why I have my gloves still on. I don't need it. So up first is going to be this guy. This is my 2-pounder. And I've already had to take out, you notice this face, there's a little chip out of it. I already had to take that out. But I don't see any other chips after taking the face off. So, this guy's pretty well all ready to go. He's a little beat up. This handle's still not too bad. One thing I will say is I tried experimenting with charting the handles, and I'm gonna say I don't like it. I really don't. I noticed some reason behind it, like prevents, I don't know, rot or something like that. But overall, it actually doesn't feel that nice in my opinion. So I'm actually going to sand down this handle and put new linseed oil on it. So I got these discs that they used to be for. I bought one of those like little belt sanders, and what I got stuck on me. Those little belt sanders that has the disc pad or flat disc on the one side. I bought a whole bunch of these, and then the motor decided to quit on it. So that's actually the review of that particular item is the only video I've actually taken down off of YouTube. Mostly because I was tired of dealing with the comments on it. And oh, there we go. And even though I clearly stated in the video that I was only going to use it for you know, handles and doing what like sharpening chisels and all that. A lot of people still like didn't even like bother watching the video and just automatically like assumed that I was going to be doing knives with it or something like that, which was never the intention. And when it did burn out, I was doing handles, so it was not very happy about that. And of course, it was beyond the warranty stage when it did burn out. So I'm actually gonna go, oh, that was the wrong grit. So I was gonna start off with 120, and somehow when I dropped them, I misplaced my 120 and went right to 400, and then was wondering why it wasn't taking it off very well. Okay. So back to my story. Yeah, so I had the thing and passed its warranty, and that's when it died. Now I will admit, right off the bat, it made noise that I didn't think was a healthy noise for a sander. So I don't know if there was a defect in it at first and I didn't notice it, or I didn't care. Needless to say, that was one of the worst tools I have bought. And funny enough, there are people, like guys, hobbyist knife makers, on YouTube that is using a similar model with very little issues. So obviously, it's not going to be as good as, you know, your 72 by 2 belt sander, but it will, based on what they're getting, it moves enough material. So yeah, anyways, char handles is overrated, and I really don't like it. This one's hickory, I believe. Yeah, this handle's hickory. I've moved to, when I make my own handles, I've moved to ash. The main reason is because hickory is hard to get up here. At least with the thickness I want. So I have moved to ash, and we have plenty of ash up here. And I've heard ash is actually better for winter time, at least here, because it will hold its springiness a little better than hickory through the winter. So I don't know how true that is. I'm not a wood guy. I'm a metal guy. So I'm not going crazy with this. I'm just taking down whatever I can off of it. I think originally I went to 220 on this and then stopped. I know rehandling this was done quickly. This used to be on a fiberglass handle, and well, the fiberglass just popped off one day. So that's why I don't like fiberglass handles. So anyways, so I'm going up to 400. All my handles, I go to 400. Unless it is going to be for a project that is really special project. I will spend a little bit more time going to like 600, 800 if it's, I've already spent a ton of time making Damascus steel or something like that. Like that one handle one hammer I did that was with the horseshoe nails and powdered steel. That one went right up to 800 grits. Oh, that's cool, John. I always thought about building my own. And then, like, when I was at the point where I was going to actually do that, you know, started getting Beaver and them out there, other people out there with it. And I was like, why would I build my own when I can just buy? That's one of the challenges that I face a lot is justifying building stuff. Not as much now that I'm doing these live streams. Now I can actually justify a little bit more. But as for prior, especially when I was doing this part-time, it was really hard to justify spending whatever amount of hours it was to build something when I can actually just buy it. And so this is just linseed oil. If you notice, I didn't say boiled linseed oil. Probably is now. I use raw linseed oil. And the reason why I do that is because, well, I don't want any weird chemicals that they might put in boiled linseed oil. And I know you can buy like natural, you know, reliable source linseed oil from people. But I just dip hot hooks into this So more like spoiled linseed. Actually, it probably is, to be honest. It's quite old. So no, I use raw linseed oil because A, I don't want chemicals. A lot of boiled linseed oil will add polymers to the oil to make it harden faster. I don't really prescribe to that. Also, some of my stuff is I do food grade. Food grade in quotations. So I like knowing what I got. So yeah. And this is my 3-pounder that I made a couple of years ago. Actually, if you go to my channel and you are not subscribed yet, I think this is actually the video that pops up. So it's getting a little rough. I'm not sure why. Probably because I probably rushed the sanding of this handle. And this is actually back when I still use store-bought hickory handles, I believe. Yeah, this looks store-bought to me. So, yeah. I kind of just, with this particular one, I think I went only up to like 220 and said, that's good enough. But if I'm taking the time to make it all pretty, I might as well. And yeah, I do oil up my hammers once a year, normally in the springtime, before it gets too dry around here. So I just coat the whole thing with oil, hammer heads and all. Again, this is one of these, char handles are great idea. This one I'm not going to clean. I don't use my rounding hammer all that much. And actually, this one did go up to at least, I would say that's at least 600. I think I went on this one, so I'm not going to really worry. And this was actually a cheap $7 hammer I bought from Princess Auto and just rounded off the one head and then just like prep the other head a little bit nicer. This was my $7 Blacksmith hammer video. And it's amazing the difference of just dressing the hammer makes and putting on a real handle makes when using it. This guy, I know I went quite high up. This is the ball peen that I made last year. I went quite high up on the grit count on this. And this is actually a handle I made. So this is an ash handle. Actually, the rounding hammer I just showed you, that is an ash handle as well. And to be honest, I've had no problems whatsoever with my ash handles. I know some people say stuff like hickory's better and stuff. And hickory is a little bit more stronger, and it is actually a superior handle material if you are not subject to freezing cold weather. But again, I really don't care all that much. This is my first hammer. This hammer is the one that my wife bought me. Many years ago. This was back when you could actually buy square face hammers at like regular hardware stores. And yeah, it is burnt and beat up. It still is. This is the original handle too. I did have to re-wedge it at one point in time. Yeah, the wedge actually popped out. So I did have to actually re-handle it. Actually, it's still in good condition, in all honesty. It's a little rusty. I went a couple of years without oiling up my tools. So, unfortunately. This one I don't even know why I'm bothering with. This is another cheap $7 cross peen hammer. And all I did was dress up the cross peen a little bit better and also the face a little better and put it on a real handle. And I better, the Persuader, every time I look at it, this to Memories Monday, yeah. You got the Persuader. It should be rehandled so badly. It should. But I really don't want to until it actually breaks. Yeah, a lot of it is just what you can get. Like in the States, hickory is still pretty big. From a quality, straight, slow growth. They still have lots of forest that has been protected that way for the hickory. So it really, I personally prefer ash just because, like I said, it does do better when you get into extreme colds. And I mean like minus 20 degrees Celsius. For your Fahrenheit people, I think that's 0. I think. Don't quote me on that. And like always, and even though I don't use boiled linseed oil, my linseed oil rags, so the rags soaked in linseed oil, I still put them in, I still burn them afterwards, just in case my my friend is a woodworker, and he's a woodworker, and he did accidentally leave a boiled linseed oil rag in the garbage at his place. Luckily, it was on a weekend where he had friends over camping in the backyard, so like right in front of his shop. So they were still up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they noticed extra light coming from the shop. And yeah, it was actually on fire. Now, luckily, he did have it in a steel like garbage can, so it was like isolated only there, but still, I don't want to take the chance. Yeah, so where are we at? Yeah, that would work too. Yeah. At one point in time, I had one of the special fire-proof garbage cans that paint shops use. They'll throw the rags in there overnight, and then in the morning they'll come in and throw them out or whatever. I used to have one of those. I don't know what happened to it. It just walked away one day, I guess. Okay, what else? What else? Yeah, I would also oil my anvil at this point in time, but I do plan on refinishing the anvil once we get a little bit warmer weather. So for you guys that don't know what resurfacing is, I'm actually going to re-harden this anvil. Poor Peter here, being his 100-plus-year-old, well-used body, the top of it has got soft. And I'm pretty sure that's just years of abuse, or use, I should say, not necessarily abuse. So this has to get re-hardened, and I'm going to be hard facing it. Now, luckily, this is actually a steel anvil, so I don't have to get nickel rod out. But it will be an undertaking, one that I'm only doing because I have live streams. From a business point of view, it's nuts. So to go over the process of what I have to do, I probably would do it in stages. I'm probably going to do the horn and the shelf first. Both of these don't need to be hard-faced. Often your horn and shelf is actually soft. What's going on? Yeah, so those are going to be soft. So what I have to do is I have to take all these dirty nicks out of it and grind them out and get right down to bare steel, and then fill in all those holes with, I'm probably going to be using 7018, which is a good welding rod for when you're not really sure what material you're dealing with. Also, it allows for different metals to be, like different alloys of steel to be joined together. So that will be the horn and shelf first. Oh, and before I do the welding, I actually have to heat up the anvil to 400 degrees Fahrenheit before I can weld on it, or the welds will crack. And then for the face, I have a couple of things I have to do. One is this edge here, the edge closest to you, so far side of me, it's actually domed in a little bit. I don't know if I can actually show you. Let's see if I move my camera a little bit. If I can actually show you. You might have noticed it already in with my videos, but that's a good shot. Okay. Let's see if I can find a straight edge. Okay. So, if you notice, you might notice that there's a big gap here. Well, that has to be built up after I grind it down to clean steel. And then I'm using hard facing, after I build it up and flatten it out to what I want, I have to use hard facing rod to harden it up. And not sure exactly what brand or what rod I'm using quite yet. I still have to do a wee bit of research. One thing with hard facing rods, the more common ones are more for abrasiveness, like to be resistant against abrasive, and not actually hammer hard, like hard enough to be hammered on. So I know there are a couple of rods out there that are made for impact. Some of them, they work harden, so they're against impact. So there is a possibility I'll get one of those rods, use the anvil, and then if I need to, smooth off what is once it gets hard fully. That's from knocking all the nails out of the header you made. Yeah, no. That's from so whoever owned this anvil before me, I can guarantee you he stood on this side. He had the anvil set up exactly how I have it now, and all his work for tapering and all that was on this side. Almost guarantee you that. This side, which is closest to me, actually is not that bad, other than the edge has slightly come over. So that's just going to be smooth off and make a nice sharp edge for once on poor Peter here and give it a little bit longer life. Yeah, this is, I've had this anvil, I picked it up from an auction 7 years ago. And it's actually now in better condition than when I got it. So that's got to tell you something. Where are we at time-wise? Yeah, okay. So I don't know what else to go on about. Yeah. Those guys are annealing. We'll finish that up. Finish that up on another day. Yeah, I think that's going to be today's show. You guys don't want to see me tear down an air compressor, do you? Because my air compressor needs to be taken apart. Yeah. Actually, I don't have the parts for it. I actually have to take it apart so I can figure out what parts I need. Something really weird is happening now with it. I have compression on one side, but not the other. So I'm not sure what that's all about. I'm wondering if this is actually something that happened and that's what caused the that tube that I replaced to blow off or work itself out, I should say. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I'm really hoping that it's a relatively cheap fix. I have taken it quickly apart just to see how the top heads are. Good candidate for Mystery Noise Monday. Mystery Noise Monday. Oh, mystery noise. The thing is, half the noises I can't hear myself in the shop because I always have music in. So if there's something that's really noisy, I probably won't notice. You guys will probably notice before me. As for tomorrow, we're supposed to be doing Tool Tuesday, but because of some appointments and stuff, I will have to postpone Tool Tuesday tomorrow. There won't be actually a stream tomorrow. I tried so hard not to have this happen, but some things you can't control. So there's going to be no stream tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday, and maybe we'll do Tool Wednesday instead of Tool Tuesday this week. When I do, so on Wednesday, the plan is to do a pair of tongs to hold my railroad spikes, or at least try to make one. I have a design that I've seen, but I've only seen it done with rapid tongs and not actually hand forged. Now, I haven't really looked, to be honest. I just saw rapid tongs do it. So I'm going to be trying it that way and seeing how it works, because right now I am using my V-bit, my big bolt tongs to hold them. And if I go and grab the knife I made with a railroad spike, by the time I grab it in, I already lost all that material to be able to work with. So I need something a little bit that holds it a little bit more down here, kind of like that too, where it's like two prongs over top and then a flat bit on the bottom. So we'll see how that works out on Wednesday. So I'll be getting a little bit more practice on making my tong blanks, and then we'll be getting into that. I'm just going to be using mild steel, 3/4 square. I'm not really going to put that much effort into doing coil spring, because I have no idea if it's going to work. So I don't want to waste my coil spring for a pair of tongs that might not work. Also, I don't use railroad spikes all that much. I think I have 50 left from the last batch I bought, which was early last year, I think. And like, other than the 40 cheese knives I made, which I still have like 20 of them for sale. Other than those guys, I haven't really done anything for them. I do have some ideas, but yeah, we'll leave it how it is for now. You know, I can always make more. I can always make a tomahawk, forge weld a blade onto it. One idea I wanted was a draw knife with the handles actually being railroad spikes. I figured that would be kind of cool. Again, maybe next week, maybe. Anyways, so Wednesday we'll be doing the new tongs for the railroad spikes. And after that, well, I'm sure I can figure out something. So anyways, I hope I entertained you today. I might not have taught you anything, but I've entertained you, I hope. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thanks for watching.